How to replace the belt tensioner of Mercedes-Benz W201 190E 2000cc model. The belt tensioner on this vehicle has reached the end of its lifespan. Let's listen to the sound. You must have heard a rumbling noise. This time, I will replace the belt tensioner, damper, adjustment fittings, and belt. Step 1. Move the radiator fan shroud. The radiator fan shrouds are secured with hard metal clips on the left and right sides of the radiator. I had to be careful not to damage the radiator hose when removing the metal clips, especially when removing the clip under the radiator hose on the right side. After removing the metal clips, slide the fan shroud to create a gap in the front and provide workspace to loosen the fan bolts. Step 2. Remove the radiator fan. Remove the bolt in the center of the radiator fan. Then pull the fan forward to remove it. Step 3. Remove the radiator fan shroud. After the radiator fan is removed from the engine, the fan shroud can be removed. Step 4. Record the belt path. Because a single belt drives all accessories, the belt follows a complex path. I memorized the route so I wouldn't make a mistake when installing it. Alternator, water pump, crankshaft, tensioner pulley, cooler compressor, power steering pump. Step 5. Loosen the power steering pump pulley. One of the tensioner fixing stay bolts is behind the power steering pump pulley. I need to remove the power steering pump pulley to access that bolt when loosening the bolts on the power steering pump pulley. If the belt is not tensioned, it will spin idly, so before loosening the belt tensioner, loosen the bolt first. Step 6. Loosen the tensioner. Loosen the 19mm bolt in the center of the tensioner. Next, rotate the tensioner adjustment rod counterclockwise to loosen the belt tension. However, if the tensioner had deteriorated, it would not move in the loosening direction, so the belt could not be loosened sufficiently. I removed it by force. Step 7. Remove the belt. Step 8. Inspect the pulleys on each device. The tensioner pulley was rattling and making strange noises. There was no rattling or abnormal noise in the other pulleys. Step 9. Remove the power steering pump pulley. Remove this pulley to remove the tensioner fixing bolt behind the power steering pump pulley. Step 10. Remove the tensioner and damper. Remove the 3 bolts that secure the tensioner. On the right side, I had to loosen the nut at the back while fixing it. To secure the nut at the back, you have to reach into the small space for people with large hands. It may be difficult to do it from above. The 2 bolts on the left are directly fixed to the engine, so just loosen them. This tensioner also comes with a hydraulic damper. Similar to a shock absorber, remove the damper fixing bolt on the left side. The tensioner can be removed along with the damper by removing the 4 bolts that secure the tensioner and the 1 bolt that secures the damper. However, the tensioner is fixed to the adjustment fitting on the backside and cannot be removed easily. I inserted a flathead screwdriver into the back of the tensioner and unfastened the tensioner from the adjustment fitting. And finally, the tensioner can be removed with the damper attached. The part at the end of the arrow is the tensioner side of the adjustment fitting. The tensioner adjustment fitting will also be replaced, so remove the old one from the engine. The tensioner adjustment fitting and adjustment knob are made of long bolts and nuts, so it took a long time to loosen them. Step 11. Preparing to install the new tensioner. The old tensioner pulley turns easily and spins well. There was a slight wobble. The new tensioner pulley turns easily but does not spin freely. In the old tensioner, the rubber had lost its elasticity and would no longer return to its original position. The tensioner I purchased is made by Ina in Germany. Install the damper on the new tensioner. The bolt that connects the damper to the tensioner is on the back of the pulley, so I had to remove the pulley. The bolts that connect the damper to the tensioner were reused, so I had to disassemble the old ones as well. I needed this bolt to connect the new tensioner and damper. Next, I removed the new tensioner pulley. I assembled a new tensioner and damper. Step 12. Install the tensioner adjustment fitting. Since strong force was applied to the tensioner adjustment fittings and adjustment knob, I applied silicone grease to prevent the screw threads from breaking. Install the tensioner adjustment fitting. Step 13. Install the tensioner. Align the angle of the socket of the tensioner adjustment, fitting with the angle of the tensioner, and insert the tensioner while engaging it. This task was very difficult, so I tried assembling it first and then inserting both parts, but that didn't work. After struggling for about 20 minutes, I finally succeeded in getting the adjuster and tensioner to engage and insert. Insert the tensioner adjustment lock bolt, tighten it, and insert the tensioner all the way. Once the tensioner is inserted all the way, remove the adjustment fixing bolt and insert the adjustment pointer and tensioner fixing stay. Then, insert the adjustment fixing bolt again and tighten it lightly. Install the tensioner fixing bolt and damper fixing bolt. Installing the damper fixing bolts. Set the adjustment pointer to the leftmost position. I installed the bolts and nuts on the back side of the power steering pump pulley by inserting my hands from the front and back. Tighten the tensioner fixing bolt. Step 14. Install the power steering pulley. Step 15. Insert the belt. The new tensioner was in a position where the belt was not tensioned at all, and was in a position where it was so tensioned that the belt could not be easily inserted. I had to forcefully insert the belt by pushing down on the tensioner pulley and pulling on the belt. Step 16. Adjust belt tension. Loosen the tensioner adjustment bolt sufficiently. Tension the belt by turning the tensioner adjustment knob clockwise. Once the belt is tensioned, fully tighten the power steering pump pulley bolt.
今あれだね。
The adjustment knob is quite stiff in this position. When I checked the tension of the belt by hand, it seemed to be sufficiently tensioned. I will temporarily fix the tension at this adjuster point. Tighten the tensioner adjustment fixing bolt. I ran the engine and checked to see if the belt was loose. There seems to be no problem. Step 17. Install the radiator fan and shroud. Place the fan shroud first. Then assemble the fan and secure it with bolts. The metal clip that secures the fan shroud to the radiator is extremely hard, so be careful not to damage the radiator's resin. Step 18. Operation check. The strange noise that was making when the engine was running disappeared and became quiet. Check the belt tension from time to time. I may need to readjust the belt as it gets used to it.